Everybody needs clean water, especially Ariel the Little Mermaid and all her friends under the sea.
Flounder, hurry up!
And no matter where you live, what you do above the ocean affects all the living creatures below it.
Scuttle, look what we found!
Human stuff, huh?
To keep our oceans clean, recycle and dispose of trash properly.
Isn't it fantastic?
To learn what you can do, go to keepoceansclean.org. This has been a message from Environmental Defense, the National Marine Sanctuary Foundation, NOAA, and the Ad Council.
The result is for the team. It's not for myself, so it's good for us to, win, grind it out. Even though we didn't play the prettiest of football, he gave me the opportunity to play Division I soccer, which is what I want to do my whole life. It's a goal of mine to reach my dream of playing professional, and he has made me the smartest footballer I can be.
That's what I want to see. Like, everyone wants to see that confidence.
Oh, yes, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome in 209 Sports right here, live from the Dominic Studios. Thank you all very much for tuning in. I am JD, Jeff Dominic, and, of course, there is none other than Mr. Kyle Hauk. What's going on, man?
Oh, everything is wonderful, sir.
Well, that's good. That's good. That's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. So, once again, thank you very much for tuning in. We've got lots and lots of stuff to talk about. Of course, we're running a little bit late. That's his fault, not mine. Just making sure everyone's aware of it. Yeah, I called you out. What? We're not even a minute in? Yeah, absolutely. I'm calling you right now.
And Jeff used to work at a bank.
Yeah. But, did I?
Tell her.
Well played. Anyways, lots of stuff to get through. The playoffs, the NFL playoffs were... Where would you put the ranking of last weekend? Surprising, amazing, pretty damn good.
Unexpected.
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 Put it one word in there and it's unexpected, huh?
Unexpected, yes.
Wow.
Surprising.
I know I gave you a bashing of on Twitter, but...
That's okay.
It was pretty funny, though. Come on now.
It was. It was. It was. You had a rookie defender. It didn't really do a rookie move, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think it was a rookie move. I think that if you put somebody, even like someone as veteran, and I'm going to go old school on this, but someone like Ed Reed.
Okay.
Someone else, he might have done that same thing. We may have seen that because he's very tackle friendly and likes to hit, and I think he went with what his best judgment was.
Yes.
In Marcus Williams.
Yes, he did, and in my opinion, he did make a rookie mistake, especially in this day and age of football, where they are really training guys to change their method in tackling. And the way he went about doing that was not how they want it done anymore. He led head first. He left his feet. And once you leave your feet, you lose all composure. You have no control over what you do at that point.
It's a very rare that an athlete of any caliber can make adjustments in the air, and especially when you're diving like that. It's one thing where you see LeBron James do a 20-foot jump shot, and he can do it in midair, change his whole stature, posture, and all of a sudden still make it in and make it look good.
Sure. No, I agree. And but as a football player, you don't leave your feet.
No.
No. I mean, unless you're going for a ball, you don't leave your feet.
But and to just kind of put another context in it, in basketball, when you leave your feet, you're in trouble. If you've got the ball and you leave your feet, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Because you especially if you don't know what you're doing with it. If you're not going to pass, if you're not sure if you can pass it, or all of a sudden that lane gets clogged. Well, you can't really make the shot at that point. Go after a shot at that point. You might as well just call it a turnover, and that's all good.
Pretty much, yeah. And another thing I want to point out is that you know what? Where it was a rookie mistake. It's one of those plays that if he would have caught because he was there at the right time. He didn't want to interfere, so I understand his mindset as far as going into that play. But if he would have hit him, because Stephon Diggs was in the air too. Yeah. It could have been real ugly.
My first thought when I saw the catch, and when I first saw it, I thought, just get out of bounds. Just get out of bounds. Let's kick a field goal, call it good.
Sure.
And all of a sudden I'm going, wait, he's gone. See ya.
Yeah. And that was the reaction of everybody.
Yeah.
You know, anybody that knows football, especially or has any remote idea of how the game is supposed to go, it's especially with no timeouts, it's get the ball and get out of bounds.
That was my first. I mean,
that's
and this is coming from a guy that played wide receiver.
Sure,
is that my first thought process was jump out of bounds. You have 6 seconds left. The worst that could happen is you kick the field goal and they have 2 seconds. What are they going to do? Are we going to see a miracle like they did in Tennessee,
or are we going to see a recap of
the band on the field? I mean, whatever. I mean, you put it there, but I just think that there was so. But here's the other thing: one missed tackle does not a game make. If you look at everything else and put everything together, the Saints were held without a score for the first time in first time. It's the 5th time that happened since Drew Brees and Sean Payton, head coach Sean Payton, were together. It's only happened 5 times, and one of them happens to be in the NFC the NFC Divisional Championship or Divisional
round.
Okay. So that's one thing. Is like you've already been shut out. There were plays and stuff like that Drew Brees just was not making, and we're used to seeing Drew Brees make. I mean, there was a wide open receiver. I believe it was
Terrell Pryor.
No, Terrell Pryor plays for the Redskins, sir.
Oh, who am I thinking of? Oh, Ginn.
Yeah, it was Ted Ginn.
Okay,
and just overshot him. I mean, just ones that you don't typically see Drew Brees miss.
Drew Brees had several overthrown balls in that game. But let's give credit to the Minnesota defense. That was phenomenal last year, and in my opinion, is probably one of the best defenses in the NFL. They're certainly ranked that high, so, we kind of touched bases on that last week. You got a number 2 offense going against the number 1 defense. Well, whereas there wasn't much defense, the score doesn't reflect much defense being played at the end of the game. But you're right. The Saints were held to no points through 3 quarters, and that's when they made their comeback. That's when Drew Brees became Drew Brees, and that's why he's going to be a Hall of Famer.
At the same time, that's going to be where Keenum's going to try to work the ball on the boundary. Keenum steps into it. Pass is caught! Diggs! Sideline! Touchdown! Unbelievable! Vikings win it!
And they basically ran off into the sunset there. Went into the
tunnel for a party.
They partied and then forgot that they had to kick the extra point. So
yeah,
that was rough. I mean, and then of course Case Keenum, he's running the clap and all this other stuff. I mean, that was emotional right there. I mean, it's almost karma, the reverse side of karma, where unfortunately you remember, what was it, 2015. Blair Walsh misses a chip shot field goal of 20 yards, and not only did he miss it, he shanked it left.
Yeah.
I mean, you got plays like that just...
the Minnesota Vikings
they needed one.
Have been haunted in the playoffs.
They needed one.
And, kudos to them. It is a hard-fought game by both teams. We sit here and, Stephon Diggs is a phenomenal pickup for the Minnesota Vikings. 3 years ago, he was a 5th-round draft pick.
Oh, what about Adam Thielen? Wasn't even drafted.
The hometown hero.
Yeah. Went to Minnesota, and
I mean, Stephon
from
Diggs,
Minnesota. I mean, he's the university.
Since his draft year of 2015, Stephon Diggs in this order here: 52 receptions, 84 receptions, and 64 receptions.
Yeah, and that was also playing with, originally you had Teddy Bridgewater, and then also you have
Sam
Bradford, and now it's Case freaking Keenum,
who, by the way, is going to get paid.
Oh, will he stay with Minnesota?
They can franchise him. They can franchise him.
But you've got other quarterbacks. Why even go there? You got Teddy.
Yeah, but all 3 of the quarterbacks' contracts are up this year.
Teddy's got a 5th, I believe. Doesn't he have a 5th-year option? Okay.
This is his 5th.
So
you got all 3 of your quarterbacks.
You know also who doesn't have a quarterback right now?
Well, there's a lot of teams that don't have quarterbacks.
Arizona doesn't have one.
Which is, by the way, where their offensive coordinator has been rumored to go.
Yeah.
but it looks more and more like he is. Pat Shurmur's looking to go to New York.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a report just yesterday where Dave Gettleman of the new GM of the New York Giants sat down and had a good conversation with Eli Manning. To what extent that contract or that conversation was is, beyond me. But the idea that Dave Gettleman's already at work in New York, and you're going to bring in a coach, and you got your franchise quarterback at the tail end of his career.
Yeah. It's a lot of question marks over there in New York, right?
There is a ton of question
marks. The other
marks.
side of the country for us.
Hey.
But here's Josina Anderson with Stephon Diggs afterwards. And I don't know if you heard this interview, but I'm going to obviously work after this one.
Okay, you got to take us through what is the best play of your career. 10 seconds, starting 10. Walk us through what happened after that.
I ran a route. My QB gave me a great throw. God took care of the rest. We watched the play. A guy ran into another guy. I give all the glory to God. I give him the praise on this great Sunday.
What was going through your mind? Were you looking at the Jumbotron? You started to run out the tunnel. Explain everything that was going on once you crossed the end zone.
I still don't know what just happened. I really don't.
Yes.
All I can say is give it to God. Because without him, nothing is possible, and I wouldn't be here. So, damn, that feel good.
Can you tell us how down and out this Vikings team felt, thinking that the Saints had just gone up and you guys needed something miraculous to happen?
Since I first got here, I never stopped working. Today was when all the work paid off, and God put me in a position, and I just try to take advantage of my opportunity.
And from there, Josina Anderson actually ran after him after that because she was trying to finish off the interview, but he started crying and had to go. Here's the funny part: is actually where the bleeped out part, obviously, was. Oh, hang on, I'm done with you, anyways. But the funny part about that was, Josina Anderson went after him afterwards, but the bleeped out part actually made it to ESPN Air, the actual part, and I started rolling. I thought it was.
I did not hear.
Yeah, it was. It actually made it to ESPN Air, and I don't remember what I said. I threw it out there on Twitter, but it was pretty funny. I don't know, and that's the whole thing. Is like I like Josina Anderson as a sideline reporter, as a reporter in general.
Oh yeah,
and she just seemed like she didn't know the words to kind of help him out and have him talk about it. But I also put that on the other side too, because I look at it a lot of ways, because I think I have an interview that we're going to be playing later on today that I tried to bring up some stuff and it wasn't really working. And it was just like, I don't know if he was the right choice at that point.
Okay.
So I was kind of like, man, you just kind of, hey, I appreciate the praise. Don't get me wrong. You pretty much praised the big man upstairs. Can't go wrong there. But give me something to work with. I saw a man, I ran a route, I saw a man miss, hit another man, and I just kept running.
Forrest?
I was running.
Yes, sir.
I'd have been better off you just kind of go, got him! That would have been all, I would have rolled with that. I would have been like, all right, I got nothing else for you. Have a great day, Stephon. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
That's all I had. But it just seemed like he just kind of said some stuff, and it was like, okay, well, I ran a route, and it was good.
And my quarterback threw me the ball.
How about the rest of the games? Because we're gonna run this one just because we're trying to catch up on time. How about the rest of the games? Jacksonville beating the Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh. Not only that, it wasn't like a 10-7 game. It was 45-42.
Well, let's back up for just a second. Jacksonville barely held on to that game.
They blew open the doors, though. They had a 28-point. Had a 28-point swing right in the first half.
Exactly. In the first half, but what happened to them?
Oh,
that phenomenal defense they had. It feels like either that or Big Ben just went to town.
Big Ben went to town.
You know,
he had something to prove. I think he was trying to show that he's not that old man that he actually is, but at the same time, he still can sling it. And I think he's also throwing that 5 interceptions earlier in the season against that team kind of really hurt his pride a little bit.
Sure. Well, you hear that all week. I mean, take a look at Blake Bortles. All he hears all week long in between these games is how he doesn't deserve to be there, how he is, not the quarterback of their future, and all of a sudden he has one game where he doesn't carry the team, but he rushes for 88 yards.
Yeah.
And he only threw the ball 14 times. So, you rush for 88 yards, and then the next week, you come out and you beat Pittsburgh? 4 touchdowns, no interceptions?
That's pretty good.
I mean, that is pretty good. But
damn, he likes to party with 2 R's.
It's that lack of consistency that will always have people talking about him the same way in the media.
Yeah.
And
14 to 26. I mean, is it Tom Brady-like numbers? No, but is it better than regular Blake Bortles numbers? Yeah. I say 14 to 26, you're throwing over 50%. You're not turning over the ball.
Oh, no, I agree. But if Tom Brady was completing 14 of 26 passes, but he's still going to have 250-plus yards and 3 TDs on that little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true.
So, consistency with Blake Bortles, he just has to get consistent for teams to become comfortable with him. Jacksonville just hasn't come across a quarterback that they could get.
Yeah, they have Blaine Gabbert, and
difference.
Yeah, and they also have him. I mean, that's the most recent of runs. The last time they actually had a good quarterback was Mark Brunell back in the early 2000s,
which took them to the playoffs.
Took them to the playoffs. Yeah, it was the last time they had a playoff run.
Yes.
So I don't know. I don't know where to take that one. I mean, obviously they win. They go off to play the Patriots, which is another weird situation. Not Marcus Mariota, but you have their coach over there in Tennessee, in Mike Mularkey, can't come to agreement. He's gone. So you win a playoff game and you're gone.
Out the door.
Huh? You do something that franchise has not done in a little while.
Since the Music City Miracle.
Well, Frank Wycheck, Kevin Dyson, all those other things. And all of a sudden you're like, we can't come to an agreement. I'm out. I just don't understand that.
I don't think there's anything wrong with a coach wanting stability. I blame that all on the Tennessee Titans organization.
I do too.
The man comes in, he sets a culture that you haven't had in place for a while.
There are literally 25 other teams that probably would love to have a coach right now like him.
Yeah, well, yeah.
That's absolutely the whole thing. That's what's so weird.
And now let's go.
At least 20. Don't get me wrong.
And then now let's take a look at the flip side of that. That just opens up another door for another New England assistant to be interviewing for another head coaching job. Mike Vrabel's already interviewed.
Yeah. Do you think? My bad. That's on me. Do you think that that's a? I don't know. I mean, do you think Patricia's going over there, or
no? Patricia's going to go to Detroit.
I think so.
I'm pretty sure. It's everything's set, just minus a stone.
Yeah.
Indy is going to get Josh McDaniels, and Tennessee, it looks like, could possibly be hiring Mike Vrabel. So, New England's going to have a lot of shoes to fill this offseason. And, with New England, they don't give out big money. So, how many people are they going to lose this year?
Well, I don't know, but I don't think they can. No, Deion Lewis is still for next year, right? I believe he's still good for next year.
He's got one more year.
No. Obviously, Tom Brady's not going to go. I think Deion Lewis signed an extension. That's why I'm thinking he's going to be available next year. He's going to be here next year. James White will probably be gone.
Right. What are they going to do? Are they just going to keep Brian Hoyer?
He signed for a couple years. Might as well. You got to start thinking of something with Tom Brady. I mean, I get it. The man just will never die, but at some point his career is going to have to take a fall. I mean,
speaking of Tom Brady, hand contusion?
Yeah, well, they say that. I mean, that's always. You know what? He's been on
hand though.
He's been on an injury list every year. Look it up.
He's on it almost every week.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is that he's on an injury list. So, do I believe there's a hand contusion? Maybe. But at the same time, I just think that they have to put something on there because they want to put something on there.
Sure.
I really do. I really question the whole situation over there in Cleveland, in New England.
Yeah.
There's a lot to behold there. I mean, I wonder if that's going to be the last season. I mean, I just don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I just think they're just using it for some sort of exploit right now. It's just a story.
Oh my God, New England's in trouble.
Yeah. Lastly, real quick, what about Philly? You think Philly can do anything? I mean, against that D?
To me, I mean,
I'm sorry. Atlanta they're just so inconsistent all season.
Well, Atlanta, first-year offensive coordinator Steve Sarkisian, who has a bit of baggage that comes along with him.
A bit?
Just a bit. Everybody's got issues, some more than others. But, you take a look at the first year Kyle Shanahan was in Atlanta. Atlanta was inconsistent.
Right.
They did have more explosive plays with Kyle Shanahan. For whatever reason, he knew how to open up the playbook for Matt Ryan and Julio Jones and the two-headed monster that they have, well, now three-headed monster they have down there in Atlanta. And, Steve just has to go through the motions. But I think that Philadelphia has a fine chance. I think it's going to be a good game.
And probably the best game this weekend.
I think so.
I agree with that. When a coach seems to take his team to the playoffs every year and has won a Super Bowl, why should he be fired? We'll discuss. 209 Sports. We'll be right back.
Some look up to the man of steel and others follow lines in the web. But I look up to my real life icon, my dad, and calling him anything less than great will be misguided. In his warm arms I confided all of my fears. And as my time to rear others grows near, I'm reminded that women marry men just like their fathers. And I hope that's true. Anything less, might as well not even bother.
A message from the National Fatherhood Initiative, the Ad Council, and this radio station. Visit fatherhood.org for more information. Have you been a dad today?
In 1805, Lewis and Clark described in their journals a country teeming with wildlife.
Bison as far as the eye can see. Rivers churning with fish.
They wrote of scenes of endless beauty and of meeting more than 100 nations of American Indian whose lives were one with our environment. Now, imagine what Lewis and Clark and the American Indians they met would say if they walked the trail today. Would they be pleased?
There are herds of homes where the buffalo once roamed.
Or would they feel differently?
Something must be done to save what's left of this great place.
As we commemorate the Lewis and Clark Bicentennial, we encourage you to consider what's been lost and what we can do to preserve what's left of the trail that still winds through us all. Walk with Lewis and Clark and see what you discover at www.lewisandclark200.org.
This is a public service message of the National Council of the Lewis and Clark Bicentennial, the Missouri Historical Society, and the Ad Council.
What does freedom of speech mean to me?
I don't know. I've never really thought about it. Freedom of speech means I can speak out against the majority.
Speak out against the majority.
It means I can express my opinion freely.
It's the American dream.
It's the First Amendment. It means everyone has a voice.
I guess freedom of speech is more than a right. It's a responsibility.
A message from the National Association of Broadcasters, Education Foundation, and this station.
That's the Big Dipper over there.
Yellow and blue make green.
Well, a cow pie really isn't a pie.
Come on, Riff! Open your eyes!
Remember, you're always teaching. Teach carefully. React with rage, and kids will learn it's okay to do the same. Keep your cool, and kids will do likewise. For advice, visit actagainstviolence.org. Brought to you by MetLife Foundation, National Association for the Education of Young Children, and the Ad Council.
How can we help prepare our kids for the future? Hi, this is Roger McGuinn. These days, our children face challenges unimaginable to us only a generation ago. We adults need to help our kids find something in school that really sparks their interest and keeps them involved. If that something happens to be music, the child will benefit in so many ways. Playing music in school is a great way to make friends. Studies are showing that kids involved in music are less likely to get into trouble. And kids who studied music find science and math easier to grasp. They tend to score higher on SATs. It has something to do with something called spatial IQ. So get your kids involved with school music. It's a great way to help prepare them for life.
A PSA brought to you by MENC, the National Association for Music Education, and the National Anthem Project, the campaign to restore America's voice through music education. Music, part of a sound education.
Some people still don't believe that secondhand smoke is dangerous. This is Scott Bakula. Did you know that just being around someone who smokes can cause severe lung problems, heart disease, and cancer? But there is something you can do about it. Call for a free booklet from the Will Rogers Institute. It clearly explains the proven risks of secondhand smoke and the ways you can avoid exposure. Toll free 1-877-957-7575. Because secondhand smoke is dangerous. Believe it.
Back here on 209 Sports, JD Jeff Dominic along with Mr. Kyle Hauk. Yeah. We here. Thank you all for tuning in. Hey, one thing has happened. We've gone through about 25 minutes of the show. I have not bit my fingernails once. Making sure everybody knows that.
There's a first.
Small steps.
Okay.
Small steps.
I'll take it.
Working on it.
Hey, look, I'm not bouncing around in the chair.
Is that what?
Oh, dude, I was.
Is that what everyone was talking?
Yeah.
Obviously,
like,
this is
So because when I get nervous, I lay back.
Oh, you do this number.
Doing this, and I'm like, and
you do the rocking.
I was sitting there watching the show last week after we did it. I'm because I like to critique myself, and I'm like, good God, man, you're making me dizzy just watching you.
You were making yourself dizzy. Yeah, that's awesome.
That is awesome.
That is pretty awesome.
We'll save that story for a hella dumb time.
We've got one that's coming up a little bit later today. It's game day over there at the Alex G. Spano Center. A good one, if you happen to be in the area. Pacific riding a little 5-game win streak. We'll talk about them in a little bit. They're also going to be taking on a ranked St. Mary's Gales, who just beat Gonzaga on Thursday. So, we'll talk about them here in a little bit. But that's two big things, kind of really putting together. Right now, especially if you're a UOP fan, what a great run they've had. They're beating the teams they should beat. Not the way you probably want to win. I mean, you should be beating Pepperdine by 15 to 20, and kind of you won by 11, but the way that you won was kind of in the last minutes.
Last time I checked, a win is a win, sir.
A big W?
The dub.
The dub. But congrats to head coach Damon Stoudemire on what he's done. We've talked about this last week. We'll talk about it again throughout the rest of the season probably. He's changed the culture, and he has changed a lot of things with what he can, what he's got. But you got two guys there right now in Jaleel Tripp, who we'll hear a little bit later today, and Alberto, but they call him Bertie Gallinat. So Bertie... Oh, Roberto, not Alberto. Roberto Gallinat. Almost caught myself. I corrected for anybody that's listening and going, his name's not Alberto. Yeah, I know. My bad. I caught it.
Good job.
It's Roberto.
You're getting big.
I know.
We're so proud.
Thank you. But speaking of coaches, you got a coach that's a winning coach, has pretty good command and actually can talk a little trash and still back it up. Won a Super Bowl for you? Yeah, I'm going the NFL route again. And people are kind of talking about him no longer being a coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Should that be should that even really be discussed right now?
No, it shouldn't be.
But it is.
It is discussed, but it's you know what? You're talking about a storied franchise. One of the most
we need to fire him.
No, we don't need to fire him. Mike Tomlin inherited a football team that was a pretty good team.
Yeah, off of Bill Cowher. And
who
ran that team for what, 14, 15 years?
I want to say it was 15.
Maybe even longer?
Yeah.
Before, oh crud, I don't want to correct myself on that one later. So, but yeah, I mean, before that, the coaching staff there, they literally have like 5-6 coaches all time. I mean, it's literally that's how much they love their coaches, and you don't have that very often.
No, you don't. Like I said, they're a storied franchise who sticks to. They hire the people they believe in and stick with them. And you look at Mike Tomlin is 45 years old. 45 years old.
That's actually pretty good.
That is insane. And
he's actually the 16th head coach.
Yes.
That's actually kind of surprising. I mean, I thought there would have been actually less, but anyways, continue.
No, I lost my train of thought.
All right, well then I will kind of just go run down the list of coaches in the history. Forrest Dowds, that was back in 1933. Louis DeMello, 1934, and then 1935 to 36, Joe Bach. John McNally, 37 to 39. Then from 39 to 40, it was Walt Kiesling, Bert Bell, and Aldo Donelli were in 1941, as well as Walt Kiesling, and there's asterisk by it. We haven't gotten that far yet. Jim Leonard, Jock Sutherland, and that was pretty much all the way from 1933 to 47. John Mickelson. Let's see. Once again, Walt Kiesling again. Buddy Parker, Mike Nixon, Bill Austin. Then that's when things started to get, and I believe that's when the ownership changed as well. But Chuck Noll from 1969 to 1991. Bill Cowher, 1992 to 2006. So I was close. I said 15. He was 14.
Okay.
And then Mike Tomlin from now to present, or from 2007 to present. So really, in what we're looking at, 40-year span almost a 50-year span. We've only had 3 coaches.
Yeah.
By one franchise.
Correct.
I mean, hell, if you're the Cleveland Browns, you have coaches every other year, so you probably have 15. This is an anomaly to the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, but the Browns change their quarterbacks with their coaches.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's almost like they should have a draft for the coach.
No, that's awful.
But I digress. I mean, a guy that brings you to playoffs pretty much every year. I mean, I'm not saying it's happens every year, but pretty much. I think there was 2 seasons in his career that they didn't make the playoffs. I believe there was 2 seasons that they had a 500 or losing record with Mike Tomlin. They just went to the playoffs. They had a first round bye. They did everything you could in a 13-3 season. And now people are talking about, well, he probably doesn't need to be a coach here anymore. Really?
Look, I mean, you're talking about a guy that's 45 years old for a head coaching job in Pittsburgh, one of the hardest cities because of the tradition to coach in.
Yeah, if it's not Philly, this is probably the other one.
Who has 160 wins.
Yeah. Preaching to the choir.
And 103 losses. He's got a 533 winning percentage. Bill Cowher before him, 571 overall. In those 14 seasons, he was 240 and 149. Chuck Noll before him, 342 and 193. Okay. But you're talking about a coach that was with the team for 22 years.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah. Mike Tomlin's fine. I think people need to get over themselves. The idea that they didn't renew Todd Haley's contract is a little interesting. There's not a lot of offensive coordinators out there right now. At least ones with a mind such as Todd Haley. Mm-hmm. Just because he's a bit harsh or brash, as they would say, he's not necessarily a people's person. But he's successful at what he does.
Todd Haley.
He's successful.
But yeah, he is.
So
and I think it's right. You nailed it on the head. I just think that the attitude, the swagger, if you will, kind of rubs you the wrong way a little bit.
No, I agree. It's interesting the things that people will point at and start crying about, just because a team. Now, granted, the main reason why this is all coming up is because they lost to a team in Jacksonville that was led by Blake Bortles. They're embarrassed.
I guess. I mean, but I look at it like this. You have a team, he's the quarterback. But that's it. That defense was pretty good. In fact, they had a defensive touchdown that kind of changed things, that being the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Sure.
I mean, they had a lot of things that just kind of fell in their way.
No, I agree. Sometimes the games
wasn't just because his name was as the starting quarterback didn't win or lose that game for them, for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
No.
So,
but it's like in baseball, you're led by the pitcher.
You know what though? Todd Haley and Ben Roethlisberger never got along. They just never got along.
No.
And I think that maybe last year probably have been okay because they were winning as well. But I think this year kind of toppled over, and we didn't see it. We just didn't hear about it. Last year we heard about it.
You know what's gone on a lot that I'm not used to out of Pittsburgh is that there is a lot of talk coming out of that locker room.
And it kind of started when Alejandro Valenzuela was standing out in the out of the tunnel with his hand over his heart while the rest of the team was in the back. It kind of and it started before that.
I think what I'm referring to is last year mainly. Guys were blah 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 blah. You had the prima donna in Antonio Brown making some mistakes, throwing things out on social media.
Yeah, that locker room stuff.
Stuff that doesn't need to be out in the world. It's not meant to be out there. And as the year ended last year, they go into contract negotiations. They slap the franchise tag on Le'Veon Bell, and they give Antonio Brown his contract, and now Le'Veon Bell wants his contract, and
he can be back next year?
I don't think so.
Wow.
I mean,
two good running backs out there right now. Carlos Hyde is another one. He's not Le'Veon Bell status, but he's a consistent running back if he stays healthy.
Yeah.
And I think that he just didn't like the San Francisco 49ers new offense. And I think that if he moves on between him and Le'Veon Bell, there's a nice little setup with running backs right now.
Sure.
And with also Jeremy Hill, another running back from Cincinnati,
who does not get utilized a lot.
Well, he went on the doghouse over there in Cincinnati, so it is what it is.
Right. But Le'Veon's already said he'll sit out for the year. He's not taking a franchise tag, and you would hope that Pittsburgh can get something done. But don't be surprised if you're looking at the NFL season next year without Pittsburgh having that running back.
It's true. It'll be interesting. Antonio Brown, well, he can be a winner at times, I guess, right? And when I say winner, I'm like winner. Like, he's questionable. Mm-hmm. We've found some winners this week, and it doesn't have to be about sports. But was Marcus Williams on this list of being hella dumb? Who made that hella dumb list? We'll talk about it when we come back. 209 Sports.
That's the Big Dipper over there, and there's the Little Dipper.
Rub the balloon on your head like this, and then it'll stick to the wall.
Brown shoes, brown belt. Black shoes, black belt.
Pucker your lips, leave a little hole like this, blow out, and that's how you whistle.
And that's why radios don't go near the bathtub.
Come on, Riff! Open your eyes!
Glasses, you idiot!
Remember, you're always teaching. Teach carefully. React with rage, and kids will learn it's okay to do the same. Keep your cool, and kids will do likewise. For a few quick pointers, visit actagainstviolence.org or call 877-ACT-WISE for a free brochure.
Well, a cow pie really isn't a pie.
Brought to you by MetLife Foundation, National Association for the Education of Young Children, and the Ad Council.
Hi there, this is Sammy Hagar here for RAD, the entertainment industry's voice for road safety. Now, style's a personal thing, and your lifestyle is your business. But if you take it on the road, it becomes everybody else's business. Please, plan ahead. Designate before you celebrate. Because friends do not let friends drive drunk.
A public service message brought to you by RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
My hero doesn't wear a cape or have superpowers. She doesn't slay dragons or kill wizards. No one wants my hero's autograph. She never goes to Hollywood parties, and she definitely doesn't have a star on the Walk of Fame.
My hero doesn't try to sell me soda, candy bars, cereal, or cheeseburgers.
You won't hear my hero song on the radio. He doesn't have a crew, bling bling, or a mansion.
You can't buy My Hero's makeup line, handmade purses, or designer baby clothes.
My Hero didn't win the pennant. She can't do a 360 dunk, and there's no way she'll score a touchdown in the Super Bowl.
Some of New York's most admired figures are the city's public school teachers. Just ask one of the millions of kids who learn from these heroes every day. For more information on the most rewarding job you can imagine, visit teachnyc.net. Join New York's brightest. Teach NYC. A public service announcement brought to you by the New York City Department of Education, the Appleseed Foundation, and the Ad Council.
My name's Rachel, and I'm 10 years old. I like riding my bike, playing soccer, and in 8 years, I'll be an alcoholic. I'll start drinking in middle school, just at parties. My friends will drink, so I will too.
Kids who drink before age 15 are 5 times more likely to have alcohol problems when they're adults.
My parents won't really know what's going on yet. I mean, I'll do okay in school, but when I drink, I'll do some things I don't really want to do. So by the time my parents talk to me about it, alcohol won't be my only problem.
Alcohol affects their judgment and their future, so start talking before they start drinking.
My parents won't believe it could happen to me.
For more information on teens and alcohol, and to learn what you can do, visit the web at stopalcoholabuse.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the Ad Council, and this station.
Statistics say that 4 out of 10 high school students will drop out of high school, but sometimes the difference between dropping out and finishing is a boost.
I sort of got messed up into gangs, and this one girl named Maria, she just told me to get my things straight, and ever since then she's been there for me.
10 real-life, at-risk students are filming their year, so you can see what it's really like trying to get through high school. Go to boostup.org to see their stories, and give someone you know a boost so they can finish. High school is hard. Graduating is harder. Brought to you by the U.S. Army and the Ad Council.
Give me the drums. Gotta have the drums. Attaboy. Welcome back. 209 Sports. JD Jeff Dominic along with Kyle Hout. Just hanging out, hanging out like snot. Yeah. I knew that would perk him up a little bit, just because, I don't know, he's been a little down today.
No.
Part of it is because he's been a little late.
Some of us have other jobs.
Were you at work today?
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't tell me that, dude. If you'd have told me that, I'd have figured it out. Yeah. I'd have moved some schedules around. I was
expecting customers to leave rental cars with me when I didn't want them.
You act like that's nothing new. I've done that. Really, dude? I worked Saturdays for the last 2.5 years. I knew what it was all about. I could have told you that. Hitting like... Yeah, well... It hits 12:45, all of a sudden I got 3 people in the office.
You know what I do? Huh? I tell everybody we close at noon.
Oh, all of a sudden, when I was working there, yeah, we're open till 1, no problem.
Oh, I lie. I'm like, nah, I got something to do, and I'll tell them, yeah, we're supposed to stay open till 1, but I got a life too, so I got to go. I don't even care.
It's all right. I closed the doors at noon quite a few times.
I'm sure.
I ain't mad. I've had those days where it's just nothing. Like, I've sat on my keister and just... and nothing happening.
Yeah.
Noon hits. Deuces.
Yeah. And then, of course, everybody wanted to pay for everything in cash today.
Oh, perfect.
So, yeah, I'm like... Well, I ain't got no change. I'll mail it to you next week.
Pretty much.
That's what I told him. That's how it is.
I owe you $10.
Sorry.
It'll be in the mail.
Sorry about your damn luck.
I'll spend 46 cents to go and give it to you. I'm sorry, I will. But yeah, stuff like that. That's kind of dumb, right? Is it hella dumb?
No, not quite.
It's not hella dumb, or it's just dumb.
It's just dumb.
Just dumb. Happens all the time.
But when we get out in public,
we be hella dumb. Your wife knows that all too well, don't she?
Yep.
She's like, oh, you guys going out? I ain't going with you.
Yep. She don't want nothing to do with us.
No.
My wife loves Jeff for one reason. It gets me away from her.
Yeah,
that's not true. I'm sorry.
There's 2 reasons.
Yeah.
We talk trash about you too, but at least we do it in front of you. That's friendship right there.
But you do it in my house to me.
I do it in front of you in my house.
True.
So, last week you started with the hella dumb stuff.
Yes.
I think that this week, it's my turn. I think I'll start it off.
You got something hella dumb?
I've got something hella dumb. It's probably one of the. It's very viral right now.
Okay.
And so I have to bring it up. Did you see the security guard that blasted the two guys that came into a convenience 7-Eleven store? And what they did is they held up the clerk, and obviously we're gonna rob him.
Sure.
And so they wanted the money. So one of the guys won. He almost biffed it and trying to jump over the counter. That was pretty funny. Because he slipped once and kind of caught himself as he was starting to hit towards the counter, and just like almost basically had to do a push-up, pull himself back up, and still had the what turned out to be the fake pistol in his hand. And then he jumps over the counter. The clerk, gets pushed to the side, and he kind of goes around. The security guard, as soon as you hear the door open, you hear a gunshot. Then you hear about 3 or 4 more after that, and he goes, you hear one of the I believe it was the guy in the blue. There's a guy in blue, and he's got a hoodie, and it's tied all the way tight, so where you can just see his eyes. And you can see his nose, I believe, too, but you see just enough, and he goes, "It's fake, it's fake." The security officer goes, "Well, mine's real." he goes, "Oh," and then the other guy, then he starts kind of telling him, "Hey, get up, put your hands behind your back," things like that, like just not like just regular security officer, but like a regular officer would do. The one guy in blue kind of stands up, and you see red. Obviously, you see blood starting to kind of come down from his side. I believe it was his back of his right arm.
Okay.
And he goes, "Am I shot?" And he goes, "Oh, blank, yeah." And obviously, you can see what gonna assume what he said. It would start with an F, and that's about as far as we're gonna go with it. He goes, and all of a sudden you hear him go, "Oh, crap!" And he kind of goes, "Now get down on the ground." And that was it's a very viral video, and I'm surprised, Kyle, you haven't seen it. Honestly, I'll have to show it to you during the break. But that was, and here's the funny thing: I had another one earlier, and I'm kind of going to run with this one real quick. But that was pretty. I think that the hella dumb level has exceeded itself to another notch. And you're going to look it up right now, aren't you?
I am.
That's hella dumb. But still, because the funny one, and we'll go a little bit more local, is I was driving home Thursday after I finished off in the warehouse. Sorry, I don't make enough money doing this. But yet, we'll say yet. But I was on my way home, and if you hit the southern part of where I live, it's if I kind of go my directions, it's actually the eastern side of town. The east side of town, it's very run down. It's kind of like a downtown, certain downtown areas. In fact, it was like downtown Sacramento, where we're right by the Golden One Center, where you and I kind of walk when we went to a Kings game. That one was pretty bad.
That was hella dumb.
It was pretty funny. Story for another day, we'll promise. But anyways, so I happen to be kind of driving towards this. Basically, what it was those sit down kind of wheelchairs where you kind of can sit down, or you can hold yourself up and prop yourself as a walker.
Okay.
People will sit down in it.
Yeah.
This guy was walking with it. He was sat down. He was kind of using it as a wheelchair. This lady comes running after him, grabs a hold of it, starts pulling him this way. He's still trying to walk. It looked really awkward. He was walking forward. She was pulling him backwards, and yet she was winning. I don't know if she had the wheels. You know, truth be told, I didn't know she had the wheels up in the front. That way it just looked like he was walking forward, and it was pulling him back. It was pretty damn dumb. What you got, homie? Are you watching it right now?
No.
I was gonna say you should watch it.
I'm working on that. So I don't have one that's really hella dumb. What I have, it's kind of it's really dumb. It's hella dumb, but it's kind of hella dumb cute.
How do you have a hella dumb cute?
Okay, so
does it involve your grandson?
No.
Okay, I was gonna say that would be an exception,
but
either one of your grandsons, I should say.
No, and so this involves some of folks that you dislike in wrestling, and folks that I do like.
New Day?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Triple H and Stephanie McMahon.
You know I've got a game coming up for you, right?
I was told something about that.
You just don't know nothing about it?
I don't know nothing.
Anyways, continue.
NOFUM. Nothing.
Nothing.
So they did the lip sync battle.
Oh, I wanted to see this. Okay. I forgot that it was even playing.
And Triple H and his wife Stephanie McMahon pulled off the Milana soundtrack song.
No kidding.
Oh, it was phenomenal. But the New Day, Boyz II Men, Motown Philly.
That's the problem, though. You and I might know what that is, and it's pretty damn funny. The guys that are like 20 years old right now, who's Boyz II Men?
Yeah.
Well, obviously not you.
Yeah, but they'll identify with Milana.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, that was hella dumb.
So who won? And this was this on the lip sync battle that is now on?
No, it was on Jimmy Fallon.
Oh, it was on Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah, it was on Jimmy Fallon's show. They did late night, so now Jimmy Fallon, Triple H and Stephanie won because of the performance, and you have to see it.
I think I know what I'm going to do during the break, but
yes.
That's okay.
So it was phenomenal. I was watching it at 4 o'clock in the morning when I was up drinking coffee.
Really?
That's what I do. You get up, you get your bonus rewards on your games, you have a cup of coffee, talk to your son who's wide awake all night, and
I are going to start by. All right, I got it for you. So we'll get it at the end. We'll get it later on.
And and I was going through my Facebook, and it pops up Triple H and Stephanie McMahon at Jimmy Fallon. Didn't even think anything of it, and all of a sudden here comes New Day, and it was great. It was phenomenal. We're going to play it for you a little bit later on, but that's my story for the week. That was the hella dumb, kind of cute, made me laugh, feel good all week long.
Well, considering that knowing where you work, you need stuff like that.
Yeah.
Considering that I'm no longer there, and I think like we said, I think me not being there anymore has completely ruined anything for you from now on.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, okay. So those who don't know, Jeff and I worked together for about a year and a half. Yeah. Jeff went to school for this. This is his lifelong dream. He wants to be in this for the rest of his life. He wants to have a career in this, and I'm all for him. I'm really envious of him because he's doing something of what he loves. But there lies the difference. I'm married with kids. He's very single, ladies.
You're stupid.
But we work together, and then Jeff comes in. He says, "Hey, man, I am going to chase my dream. I'm going to quit my job." Oh, I freak out. I don't want to be here without Jeff. I can't do this. There's no way. And it just so happens some things went down, and Jeff quit, and I was 5 days later out the door.
But I actually stuck around for a month.
Yes, you did. I wouldn't go and do that.
I didn't mind. It was like I was in. Here you guys go. Yeah, I'm good. We're scheduling a month and a half out. You guys might as well have them.
Yeah. No. No, that was a rough time for me. And even going back now, I would say I still get a lot of work done, but it's just not as fun. I'm real serious. You know how I am when I'm real serious. It's like, I just head down. I got nothing to say. And, at least I had somebody who would act up with me before. But I do miss those days.
It's all right. We still got plenty of time to be hella dumb, and that's why you're here. So that way you can still kind of enjoy the dream a little bit. You can live vicariously through, well, not really anymore, right?
No.
You kind of get a little opportunity to
we get to be hella dumb together.
Hang out with the boys, and then yet still talk on the radio. And
speaking of hanging out with the boys, Monday, what are we doing?
We'll talk about that.
Okay.
We'll talk about that.
All right.
Because I know
you know where I'm going with that.
Oh yeah, because I know where I'm going with this next.
I'm like already planning to leave work early, and
are you really?
Oh,
I can't be there until about 5:30, 6 o'clock.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'll leave work probably about 4:45. Then
what's your wife making?
That we'll find out.
Okay.
I'll shoot her a text right now.
There you go.
Oh, wait a minute. She told me on the way here. I forgot.
Oh, well, then we'll talk about it afterwards then. When we come back, I got something for Kyle, and he doesn't know what it's about, but it should be fun since it involves wrestling. Also, what did we think of the mixed tag matches? We'll talk about that. 209 Sports.
I know, being a college freshman is supposed to be tough, but let me tell you about my schedule this semester. All 18 credits. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I have American Lit at 8:05 a.m. And then I only have 15 minutes to get to my 9:15 Ethics and Value Theory class, all the way across campus. Then in the afternoon, Calculus 1. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, I have 2 lectures that go through lunch. Sociology of families, then Intro to Microbiology. Pre-med. And finally, I have a double lab that ends around 9 p.m. Anyway, I just wanted to say thank you.
If a kid will do whatever it takes to get through college, what will you do to send her there? Please support the United Negro College Fund and call 1-800-332-UNCF, because a mind is a terrible thing to waste. A public service brought to you by UNCF and the Ad Council.
Ever think of light bulbs as being cool? They are if you choose energy-efficient bulbs and fixtures that have earned the government's Energy Star label. They're so hot, they're cool. Because they burn cool and last up to 10 times longer, you save money and oodles of energy. Change a light, help the environment, save some green. The solution is as close as your nearest lamp socket. Brighten your environmental future. From the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency.
In a world where your tires are your only connection to the road, 1 man, 4 tires, free air. An epic battle against underinflation, tire damage, and even tire failure. In the ultimate fight for properly inflated tires, the warrior gives his heart, his soul, to keep those he loves safe on the road. Tires will inflate. Money will be saved. A message from the Rubber Manufacturers Association.
Hi, my name is Aaron, and I'm a survivor of mannequinism. Mannequinism is basically when you turn into a hard plastic shell. They say it's from not being politically active. For me, it started when I didn't register to vote, and then I stopped volunteering, and before I knew it, I wasn't doing anything. And that's when I found the first sign. A small, discolored hard patch of plastic on my right shoulder. I thought it would go away on its own, but it didn't. It kept spreading. And when I could no longer conceal it with a t-shirt, I knew I had to see the doctor. He said I had this early stage of mannequinism and that my only hope was to get involved, even if it was something simple. So I began reading the newspaper and instantly got feeling back in my arm. I guess you could say I'm living proof you can fight mannequinism.
Protect yourself from mannequinism. Log on to fightmannequinism.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Hi there, this is Sammy Hagar here for RAD, the entertainment industry's voice for road safety. Now, style's a personal thing, and your lifestyle is your business. But if you take it on the road, it becomes everybody else's business. Please, plan ahead. Designate before you celebrate. Because friends do not let friends drive drunk.
A public service message brought to you by RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
You know, I probably should. I don't know if I should or shouldn't like the song. I've always liked songs with decent beats. Stuff like that. Something you can just get in a rhythm to, that you can at least kind of, as you start to drive or something like that.
Did you say rhythm?
Yeah. Why?
Have you seen us?
We got no rhythm.
We got no rhythm.
I could.
That's hella dumb.
Like, so what's for dinner? He straight did the sprinkler for those that are just listening and not watching.
This is why I love my wife right here.
Okay, let's put it down.
Amy Houck says,
I didn't chew my fingernails yet.
So first I asked her, what did you say was for dinner on Monday? She says, I didn't. Why is Jeff coming over? So I tell her, Monday Night Raw 25th. Oh yeah. What do you guys want?
Man, I don't know, but you know what though? I don't care, because wherever she cooks is bomb. So,
yeah. Let's see here.
Hopefully she's listening to that, because I
don't know that she is.
Yeah, well,
she's busy with the boy, and Kylie's upset because we wouldn't let her go hang out at the river with her friends, and well, first of all, what the fuck? Sorry.
It's alright.
My bad. What the flip do you want to do at the river?
Caught yourself.
In the winter.
Caught me slipping.
Yeah. Oh, no. So, yeah, no, she's got her hands full. I'm letting her know right now that, Jeff and I agree
that whatever you make us, will be just fine. Whatever you feel like making, if you feel like making anything at all. If it's sandwiches, oh well. Yeah. All these sandwiches, I don't. Yeah. I like it when she cooks, but if she's like, I don't feel like cooking, we're gonna have sandwiches. Sounds good to me.
I got cereal.
Well,
Apple Jacks.
That's kind of good.
That is kind of good.
That is kind of good. So I brought this up, and during the break, I said, "Hey, Kyle, what do you prefer? Would you prefer drums, drums, piano, or a ukulele?" And you chose drums.
I did.
So, in the spirit of the mixed match and everything else that's coming up, and Raw 25 coming up tomorrow, that's what we were talking about when we went off air earlier, or just a few minutes ago, is that we're talking about making sure where I'm going to be, and I'm going to be at your house, and we can always replay that stuff, right? Like we can rewind it?
Oh, yeah.
From the beginning?
No.
Then we're good.
Yeah, we're good.
We can't sit in the middle of it.
It's on DVR.
Perfect. We'll start from the beginning.
Or as I like to say, the DVR.
The DVR?
Yeah.
Well, at least you're not using TiVo anymore. That's always
true.
A start.
That still slips out.
It does. So does flipping.
Yeah.
So here we go. Kyle, when I get this going, guess this entrance.
Stone Cold Steve Austin, baby.
I think this is the right one.
Vince McMahon.
Okay. This isn't the one either. Dang it. No. Go ahead and keep going. I just kind of...
Triple H.
Oh, is this it?
What the Rock is cooking?
Man, that bugs me. I cannot believe that.
Did you foobar that?
I might have. Well, I'm going to keep going. I cannot believe. So, anyways, while I kind of run this down here and start to look at which ones I was looking for, what did you think of that mixed match challenge? Because I talked to someone that you and I both know, Nick.
Okay.
He thought it was interesting. He thought it was. I mean, a lot of people were kind of on it because they thought it was going to be like 2 or 3 matches.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was a 12-week process. I think that's where my letdown was.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as much as I hate to sit there and try to look at my phone and watch Facebook Live, I think the chemistry between the Mixed Match Challenge entrants is phenomenal. I think the match itself that we saw the other night was absolutely phenomenal. But it definitely, they did their job as far as me wanting more. But, for me to have to wait every week for one match is it's a little disappointing.
Right.
It is. I was expecting more. Performance-wise, I was entertained. They did their job. I'm a huge fan of Finn Balor. I love Sasha Banks. I wish that they would do something else with Natty's character. And I love Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yes.
These newer guys that they have coming over to the WWE, whether it be from New Japan or Ring of Honor or what, I think these guys are phenomenal. And the thing is that their fans have followed them world round. They have followed them from Japan and Ring of Honor, where they go to Japan quite frequently. The WWE writers, in my opinion, need to figure out what to do with these guys. Otherwise, they're going to lose them.
Yeah.
And this is their future right now.
It is. They got. I mean, countless. Right now, they got countless guys.
They got all the heels they need. They got all the baby faces they need. They just need to make it work.
Yep.
And don't get me wrong. I'm all for the part-timers every now and again, but for part-timers to be carrying gold, I'm not with it.
You wouldn't be talking about Brock Lesnar.
There's a lot of guys I'm talking about.
Did you hear that Jey Uso? It's rumored that Jey Uso got arrested for DUI.
No,
there's a rumor out there, so keep an eye on that one. Just as something to look at, just in case.
Well, that'll fall under the wellness policy of the WWE, which is an automatic suspension.
Yep.
And they would lose the belts, obviously.
And we might see that at Royal Rumble in a week
if they don't strip them.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I don't think they'd go that far with it. They'd probably have him drop it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so
it's a rumor. I don't know if it's 100% positive. I just happen to see it in passing.
Okay.
So here we go. I believe this is it. And this is exactly how it sounds. You know who it is. I'm going to try and pause it here. Yep. Okay. What you think?
Finn Balor?
I believe. Yep. You are correct. And just go ahead and let this play for a minute. There you go. That one was pretty easy. This is the one I was looking for. These would get pretty hard because obviously. Here's the problem with this one. And I'll even give you the hint. She is really too new.
Is this Riot Squad? Ruby Riot?
Nope.
Ooh.
Asuka.
Okay. She's a different character.
She is.
Like her.
And I almost blew this one because I just said, oh yeah, new girl.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of new girls.
There is. Let's see. This is the last one before we go to break. And I don't even remember this one.
Doesn't even sound familiar.
Give you a second to think about it. Just throw out something. You gotta throw out something at least. It's gonna be a new wrestler. You know that for sure.
I understand that part of it. God, my mind's going blank. It's not Carmen. Liv Morgan?
Nope.
It is. Well, once you hear it, you're like, oh. Gallows and Anderson, actually. Wow. Yeah. And these were the easier ones. That's the whole thing. If I were to give you the ukulele one that we talked about, I don't know if you'd have gotten a single one of them. Because I didn't. I mean, it was hard for me to catch. I think I may have gotten one or two.
Really?
It was hard. Wow. So, anyways, I think we're going to kind of break that out every week.
That'll be interesting.
That'll be interesting?
I'd go with that.
Okay.
Sure.
This was just off the cuff. I thought, you know what? Maybe we'll give it a shot.
I have a response for Monday dinner.
Okay.
So I told her that you and I agree that whatever she makes is great.
Uh-huh.
Response I got? Really? And we were called a name.
We can't say that one on there, can we?
No, sir.
Bummer. Well, time to take notice, and obviously we're on notice with somebody. But they are now winners of 5 in a row. And tonight, they take on a nationally ranked team that is coming off an emotional win. Will there be an upset brewing? We'll talk about it. 209 Sports.
Some people still don't believe that secondhand smoke is dangerous. This is Scott Bakula. Did you know that just being around someone who smokes can cause severe lung problems, heart disease, and cancer? But there is something you can do about it. Call for a free booklet from the Will Rogers Institute. It clearly explains the proven risks of secondhand smoke and the ways you can avoid exposure. Toll free 1-877-957-7575 because secondhand smoke is dangerous. Believe it.
Want to fight childhood asthma? Then fight it with a scrub brush and a hot soapy towel. Even in the neatest and tidiest homes, if there's so much as a crumb to eat or a drop to drink, household pests like bugs and mice will do all that they can to get it. And they're more than just a nuisance for kids with asthma because they can actually trigger an asthma attack. So, sweep up crumbs, wipe down tables, scrub dishes before they pile up in the sink, and store leftovers in plastic bags or bowls. Don't Don't leave bugs and mice so much as one tidbit or nibble, and you can stop a childhood asthma attack before it starts. Discover other simple ways to prevent an asthma attack. Call 1-866-NO-ATTACKS or visit noattacks.org, because no child should feel like a fish out of water. A public service message brought to you by the U.S. EPA, the Ad Council, and this station.
Everybody needs clean water, especially Ariel the Little Mermaid and all her friends under the sea.
Hurry up!
And no matter where you live, what you do above the ocean affects all the living creatures below it.
Scuttle, look what we found!
Human stuff, huh? To keep our oceans clean, recycle and dispose of trash properly.
Isn't it fantastic?
To learn what you can do, go to keepoceansclean.org. This has been a message from Environmental Defense, the National Marine Sanctuary Foundation, NOAA, and the Ad Council.
In 1805, Lewis and Clark described in their journals a country teeming with wildlife.
Bison as far as the eye can see. Rivers churning with fish.
They wrote of scenes of endless beauty and of meeting more than 100 nations of American Indian whose lives were one with our environment. Now, imagine what Lewis and Clark and the American Indians they met would say if they walked the trail today. Would they be pleased?
There are herds of homes where the buffalo once roamed.
Or would they feel differently?
Something must be done to save what's left of this great place.
As we commemorate the Lewis and Clark Bicentennial, we encourage you to consider what's been lost and what we can do to preserve what's left of the trail that still winds through us all. Walk with Lewis and Clark and see what you discover at www.lewisandclark200.org.
This is a public service message of the National Council of the Lewis and Clark Bicentennial, the Missouri Historical Society, and the Ad Council.
That's the Big Dipper over there.
Yellow and blue make green.
Well, a cow pie really isn't a pie.
Come on, Riff! Open your eyes!
Remember, you're always teaching. Teach carefully. React with rage, and kids will learn it's okay to do the same. Keep your cool, and kids will do likewise. For advice, visit actagainstviolence.org. Brought to you by MetLife Foundation, National Association for the Education of Young Children, and the Ad Council.
Some look up to the man of steel and others follow lines in the web. But I look up to my real life icon, my dad, and calling him anything less than great will be misguided. In his warm arms I confided all of my fears. And as my time to rear others grows near, I'm reminded that women marry men just like their fathers. And I hope that's true. Anything less, might as well not even bother.
A message from the National Fatherhood Initiative, the Ad Council, and this radio station. Visit fatherhood.org for more information. Have you been a dad today?
New U.S. champion? New U.S. champion. You believe that? I know.
Good Bush kid.
I know. He's, you know what? He's been due, right? I mean, he's the new guy that we all kind of really have been digging lately, right? I mean, other than Shinsuke?
I followed Bobby Roode for a while.
Yeah.
I used to watch TNA when I'd catch it. So
back when him and AJ Styles and were all there.
Yeah, James Storm, AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Gallows and Anderson were there. So yeah, a lot of those guys were there, and I like those guys. I really do.
Did you see Paige on? I think it was like on a WWE exclusive. I know that she's suffering through the injuries right now, and there's a chance that she's done for her career, and she's kind of laying it out there like she's not wanting to really give up hope yet.
No,
and she's kind of really pushing her two wrestlers that she's been kind of promoting, and she's been pushing them more when they started entering the Royal Rumble and stuff like that. I'm wondering if anything, she's still going to have a finger in the WWE some way, shape, or form.
I wouldn't be surprised if she goes to try and get out of her contract.
And then?
Ring of Honor, New Japan.
Think she's still going to try and wrestle?
She wants to wrestle. She's 25 years old.
But if her body is telling her that she can't wrestle.
She's been doing this since she was 12?
Probably, yeah.
She grew up in a wrestling family over in England.
Okay. That doesn't mean nothing. I'm just saying
she's out seeking other opinions right now.
Yeah.
Just because the WWE doctors won't clear her, if she gets cleared by a doctor, she's going to want to wrestle.
Oh, I believe it.
You know,
if she can wrestle, I don't doubt that they wouldn't try and keep her in. Because she's a money person. She's money.
So was Daniel Bryan,
and he may be back to wrestle.
I don't know.
How old is Daniel Bryan? Do we know?
Daniel Bryan?
Is he in like his early 30s?
I want to say late 30s.
It's so weird to see that some of these guys are in their late 30s, and it's like The Miz, for example. He's in his 40s. You know, it's like,
yeah,
God, you don't seem like you're that old, but okay, you know, I'll take it.
Well, Daniel Bryan.
But anyways, he's still able to wrestle.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Huh?
He's 36 years old, man.
Well, mid-30s, okay.
Yeah. And, yeah. Wow.
You know, we talk about who's glorious, but I'm glad that if anything, I'm glad that Bobby Roode is the new U.S. champion. I kind of like it. I dig it. I'm curious where the storyline will go now. Is Dolph Ziggler actually gone? Because a lot of people were even talking about that he wanted to give it back up for a reason.
You know, there's been talks of Dolph Ziggler disgruntled within the WWE for a couple of years now.
Well, yeah, because he starts to get a push and then he gets pulled back. Well, he keeps getting hurt. I mean, you can't.
He had the 1 year where it was concussion after concussion.
Yeah, three concussions that year.
Concussions in 1 year.
Yeah.
You know, there's rumors of his backstage antics, not necessarily political antics, just some of the stuff he does is make him a very unlikable person backstage. But is he really gone? I mean, or is he just injured again? Did he win that match because it was set up that way but get injured? We've seen that happen before too.
True.
You know? So, you know, I don't know as far as Daniel Bryan goes. I don't know that WWE doctors have cleared him. I know that the rumors are him right now entering the Royal Rumble and actually winning it. I don't know.
It'd be interesting.
You know, why have him win it for something he couldn't go get afterwards if that's the case, you know?
But you're excited for Raw 25 on Monday, a couple days away.
Super excited.
Can't wait. We've already had a plan on how, who, where, all that other good stuff. So we're ready to go. You know what a lot of people need to be excited about right now?
What?
Is tonight's game over at the Alex G. Spano Center.
What?
University of Pacific men's basketball hosting the St. Mary's Gales.
What?
Nationally ranked St. Mary's Gales, which is no surprise. There always seems to be two teams out of the West Coast Conference that are always ranked at this point. Gonzaga last year went to the national championship game, was the runner-up.
Yep.
They lost to St. Mary's on Thursday.
No.
It was a big situation there. Are we looking at a possibly, what do they call that? The trap game. After an emotional win, at this point, you've already said it earlier today, a W is a W.
Yeah.
So if you're Pacific, who's riding a 5-game winning streak, if they can pull one out, where do you kind of go with that at that point? Do you go, well, Pacific's the team on the rise, which they are. They're the team on the rise, and if they can make this game ugly, which is fine by all of us,
sure,
they can make this game ugly and put themselves in a position to win, it's going to be a big deal.
In order for them to do that, let's talk stats for just a second. They're going to have, they need to do better from the 3-point range.
That's just not their game, though.
It isn't their game. But if you're going to take 3-point shots, the other night they were 5 of 13.
Oh, that's about 45%. It was 43? 38.
Yeah, 38.5.
So,
but overall, from the field, they were 60% from the field.
Doing pretty good. I think that's going to be our,
yeah, keep that up.
Well, and this is talking about against a Pepperdine team that won. They're 3-16. They're 0-7 in the WCC, but they gave them their best shot. Pepperdine gave Pacific their best shot. They were outscoring. It was 21-8 in the first 5 minutes of the game. They were 8 of 8 to start the game.
Mm-hmm.
And weren't able to finish it off. One, that's just Pepperdine being Pepperdine, and that's just where they're at right now, and it sucks. But at the same time, all programs got to start somewhere.
You know,
and they got a kid, Eric Cooper Jr., just blasted it off. I mean, he finished 9 of 16. This is the kid that started off, I believe it was 6 of 6.
Yeah, I'm looking at the stats now, and this is why you play the game. I don't care what a record says.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what's that? The old saying goes: "The sun shines on a dog's butt some days."
Yeah, that's true.
So Pacific.
Got him.
You're killing me, Smalls.
No. Keep going. Where's your thought?
You're dumb.
I'm going to play this out. Come on. What else you got?
You're hella dumb. So for Pacific to keep going the way they're going, I think they're on the right track.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like they got. Let's take a look at the minutes that their starters are playing.
They have such a small rotation. They play 7 players.
They play 7 players, but their leading minutes getter, Miles Reynolds, 39 minutes the other night.
Miles is a very interesting character, and he's probably the emotional leader of that team. Like, you have guys like Jaleel Tripp and Roberto Gallinat that have, not Alberto, that's his cousin, but Roberto Gallinat that have they're the flashy guys. They've got that swagger. They've got this kind of this thing that they have going on right now that is just a great 1-2 combination, and they've played together before Pacific. They're both transfers from the Texas area, and they've played for a while. Miles is a different character, and he's very emotional, and he's done enough to where he's gotten close to being teed up because of his emotion. And there's also times where he's pulled people together and helped them basically rally around him to get a job done. He's that guy, and he comes around, and you just talked about it. He played 39 minutes. He went 6 of 13 and scores 12 points, but he also had 8 assists.
8 assists, 3 steals.
Mm-hmm.
He only had 1 turnover. Defensive rebounds, he had 5.
Yeah.
So there's nothing wrong. Those are quality minutes from anybody. You look at Jaleel Tripp, 21 points. He was 8 of 9 from the field, 33 minutes played. Offensive rebounds 5, defensive rebounds 3. But he only had 2 assists. You've got to pass the ball around.
Well, here's the thing: is that Jaleel is a scorer. He's that's his mindset, and so when he gets the ball, it's very rare unless he finds Roberto. That's pretty much his go-to guy. Otherwise, he's going to take it. But I think as a team, you look at it, 15 assists compared to 14. They basically had the equal assist numbers, but it really what jumps out to me the most was the points inside the paint. And it doesn't show it here, but I actually had the stat a moment ago, and points in the paint, 50 to 22. You got to get inside that paint, and those kids are able to do it.
Sure.
So that's what sticks out to me. Is if you continue that, and the scary thing about going against St. Mary's, they have 3 guys that are 6'10" or above. Pacific has 1 guy that's 7 foot. Other than that, they have 6'9", 6'9", 6'8", and then Jaleel and Roberto, and then of course Miles is 6'3", 6'6", and 6'4", or something like that. So, but you know what? Jaleel after the game, where'd it go? I just had it. There it is. This is what he had to say, and I apologize because it's my voice that you're going to hear as well, because I didn't have time to edit this. So let me go ahead and ask you real quick. I mean, you guys go down 13 early within the first 6 minutes. Timeout gets called. What gets said in that huddle to change things around?
Just play our game. Relax. Everybody just came out a little antsy. We let them, what they did, rattle us a little bit. The zone, we knew we was going to see it. We practiced for it all week. We just didn't stick to the game plan in the first few minutes, and then once in the huddle, everybody got going, and we started to do what we did.
I believe they hit their first 8 of 8 shots. I mean, is there really a defense that you can think of that would even really protect something like that when they're just hitting hitting on all cylinders like that?
They was hitting a bunch of good shots and a lot of bad shots, and it was just like, hey, you got to live with it, and we got to come down the other end and try to score and just try to play better defense on the next possession. Coach just told us to keep our head in the game and just don't worry about it. Everybody's going to hit tough shots every once in a while, so we just played that game.
And then roughly in about the last 6 minutes, next thing you know, in the first half, next thing we know, you're got 13 points and 6 rebounds. What kind of hit that next gear? What did you see that in that defense against Pepperdine?
My coaches and the players on my team, they always give me the ultimate confidence because I'm playing a point now, and they just give me the confidence to go out there and take over the game whenever, because they know I'm going to get them involved, because I love just seeing my teammates score. I'd rather get 15 assists than get 40 points, so they just give me the confidence, and I go out there, I know how to take the game over whenever.
5-2 in the West Coast Conference, winning the last 4 in a row. What is this swagger like with this team right now? I mean, how good does this feel?
Coach told me when he recruited me, I need you to come and bring some swagger and bring a winning mentality, because I won over there in junior college with Roberto, so I just wanted to bring that atmosphere over here, and I think everybody over here is falling in love with winning. I just like to make history everywhere, so I think everybody is on board with that, and we just riding high right now.
Talk about that little relationship you and Birdie have. I mean, that 1-2 combination is going to be scary for the next rest of the season, maybe even next season.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, we like the dynamic duo out there. Like they said in the beginning of the season before it started, we was on the front page. They 2 JC transfers, and we both had a talk before the season, like, hey, we got to come out here and play our game, and they brought us here for a reason, and that's to change the culture, and I think we're doing that.
Lastly for you, no overlooking it right now, we got St. Mary's who just beat Gonzaga. There's no secret about that. What's the excitement? What's the anticipation like right now?
As soon as Coach walked on the locker room, we said, hey, we got a showdown on Saturday, and I know we're ready for it, and I know my guys will get prepared tomorrow and go out there. As soon as the ball gets tipped, we're ready to rock.
So Jaleel Tripp, and not only that, the whole time that we were going through this interview, he had a grin from ear to ear. And you want to talk about something that actually got bigger when I talked about St. Mary's? That kid had it. That kid had it. He just had that look of, I'm going to do whatever it takes. And they've already experienced St. Mary's once in Moraga. It's going to be fun.
Well, let's just tell you that the Spano Center is going to be
needs to be
jumping tonight.
Needs to be.
Yes.
At game time 7 o'clock, and if you can be there once again within the shout out of my voice, have the opportunity there. Go and see these boys play. It's a different Tiger team than it's been over the last 4 or 5 years. That's for sure. So always take a look, and if you get an opportunity, go out there and hang out with them, or go and watch them play. Another team that's kind of going to start making waves, the Giants. They made another good move, right? I mean, a lot of people are thinking so. Was this the right move, or should they have done more? Or are we even saying that they're not even done yet? We'll talk about that. 209 Sports.
Hi there, this is Sammy Hagar here for RAD, the entertainment industry's voice for road safety. Now, style's a personal thing, and your lifestyle is your business. But if you take it on the road, it becomes everybody else's business. Please, plan ahead. Designate before you celebrate. Because friends do not let friends drive drunk.
A public service message brought to you by RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
Some people still don't believe that secondhand smoke is dangerous. This is Scott Bakula. Did you know that just being around someone who smokes can cause severe lung problems, heart disease, and cancer? But there is something you can do about it. Call for a free booklet from the Will Rogers Institute. It clearly explains the proven risks of secondhand smoke and the ways you can avoid exposure. Toll free 1-877-957-7575, because secondhand smoke is dangerous. Believe it.
Everybody needs clean water, especially Ariel the Little Mermaid and all her friends under the sea.
Flounder, hurry up!
And no matter where you live, what you do above the ocean affects all the living creatures below it.
Scuttle, look what we found!
Human stuff, huh? To keep our oceans clean, recycle and dispose of trash properly.
Isn't it fantastic?
To learn what you can do, go to keepoceansclean.org. This has been a message from Environmental Defense, the National Marine Sanctuary Foundation, NOAA, and the Ad Council.
In 1805, Lewis and Clark described in their journals a country teeming with wildlife.
Bison as far as the eye can see. Rivers churning with fish.
They wrote of scenes of endless beauty and of meeting more than 100 nations of American Indian whose lives were one with our environment. Now, imagine what Lewis and Clark and the American Indians they met would say if they walked the trail today. Would they be pleased?
There are herds of homes where the buffalo once roamed.
Or would they feel differently?
Something must be done to save what's left of this great place.
As we commemorate the Lewis and Clark Bicentennial, we encourage you to consider what's been lost and what we can do to preserve what's left of the trail that still winds through us all. Walk with Lewis and Clark and see what you discover at www.lewisandclark200.org.
This is a public service message of the National Council of the Lewis and Clark Bicentennial, the Missouri Historical Society, and the Ad Council.
Want to fight childhood asthma? Then fight it with a scrub brush and a hot soapy towel. Even in the neatest and tidiest homes, if there's so much as a crumb to eat or a drop to drink, household pests like bugs and mice will do all that they can to get it. And they're more than just a nuisance for kids with asthma, because they can actually trigger an asthma attack. So, sweep up crumbs, wipe down tables, scrub dishes before they pile up in the sink, and store leftovers in plastic bags or bowls. Don't leave bugs and mice so much as one tidbit or nibble, and you can stop a childhood asthma attack before it starts. Discover other simple ways to prevent an asthma attack. Call 1-866-NO-ATTACKS or visit noattacks.org, because no child should feel like a fish out of water. A public service message brought to you by the U.S. EPA, the Ad Council, and this station.
You know, a little part of breaking news, little piece. You haven't seen it already there, Kyle. You were talking about Mike Vrabel. Just got announced. He's the new coach for the Tennessee Titans.
Wow.
Really?
I didn't think they could announce it.
I didn't think so either, but it just came off of NFL.com. So,
wow.
Mike Vrabel now going to be the new head coach for the Tennessee Titans.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him. He was a hell of a football player.
Well, he's the Houston Texans, so they can announce that. He's the DC for Houston Texans.
Is that where he was at?
Yeah.
Okay,
so they can announce
it. He's in New England now.
Yeah, he played in New England for years.
I don't know where else.
I didn't even think about that. You did mention it.
I'm Mississippi. That's backwards.
Sorry. It's all right. We will forgive you this one time, but just once. Just once.
You're the one that said we can do what we want.
We can do a lot of what we want. That's for sure.
Face.
I'm just here so I won't get fined.
But
Skittles, please.
Big.
I'm just about that action, boss. You don't feel in beast mode. It feels you.
Anyways, what do you think but basically he just inherited a winning team right now. 9-7 last year, a playoff win this season. He just inherited that.
He did.
Can he enhance that where Malarkey was a pretty good coach?
I guess we'll find out. I mean,
and you start to notice that a lot of NFL teams are starting to push towards the defensive side of the ball again. It's kind of it has its own little weird runs. For a while, they were running the offensive side of it, and for rightfully so, because it's such a pass-happy league now. Well, they're now trying to find a way to defend it, and now they're pushing after defensive coordinators and wanting that side of the ball again.
I think it's going to be an interesting fit.
Yeah.
You have a very athletic quarterback in Marcus Mariota.
Mm-hmm.
You have a couple running backs that are
Derrick Henry and DeMarco Murray.
I mean, and they're both under contract.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good start. Do they need to pick up a few things? Their offensive line needs a lot of help.
They have Rashard Matthews as a wide receiver. Davis, I don't know his first name. He was their first round draft pick this season
out of Western Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
row the boat.
There are a lot of good players. I mean, they've got a lot of talent.
It's a good starting point.
And you know what? You actually think about it. A couple of years ago, that defense was good. It wasn't great. It was good.
Tennessee's never had a great defense.
With Jarrell Casey and guys like that walking up the middle. Shut your mouth when I talk to you.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Tells you when you have an antivirus problem, or not problem, but just letting you know it's no longer available. But anyways.
None of it is.
None of it ever is.
Oh.
But can they... does that enhance the Tennessee Titans? Are they going to be another playoff contender?
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs?
Only time will tell.
Yeah. It's hard to gauge this one, right?
It is, but it
not
isn't.
the team. I'm talking about with him as a coach.
It is.
Yeah.
Because you don't. He's coming from a team with J.J. Watt. Granted, he's been hurt for the past couple years. And
Jadeveon
Clowney. And a secondary that's no slouch.
Yeah. When those two guys go down, it's hard to keep that secondary together.
You're
But
talking about 2 All-Pros, yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he was coached by Bill Belichick.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't care who you are, some of those routines are going to carry over into your coaching career, and some of those routines are going to carry over into a head coaching career. So technically now Mike Variable falls under the Bill Belichick of coached players that are now coaching in the NFL.
That's true. That's true.
So, good luck to him.
Yeah.
Do I think there'll be a playoff team next year? I think yes. I think that the Tennessee Titans will win that division.
Ooh, okay. Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and call that now. So make sure that's on recording. So when we do a playback, I could feel like I actually know what I'm talking about with football instead of like last week where it was like I looked at the scores and I looked at my wife and said, Jeff and I know nothing about football right now. And then it turns out you knew something about football.
I was going to say, come on now, really? The only thing we couldn't predict was that the Jacksonville Jaguars were going to go.
Scores.
That too.
The scores and the Jags.
That too. Another team starting to try and make waves is the San Francisco Giants, and this is your team. You're a huge fan of the San Francisco Giants, and I think huge is an understatement to what fandom you have, considering you've inked your body towards it.
Not the entire body. Let's clarify that, listeners. Let's just say I do have a solid leg piece that is not quite finished, but it is about 3/4 of the way done. I was born in San Francisco. I grew up a Giants fan, and it's in my family. Baseball has always been in my family from my great-grandfather who played for the Chicago White Sox in their minor league system until an injury ended his career, to my days growing up with my Nana and my Bumpa. And and it's, hey, Bumpa took me to my first game, and I'll never forget the swing that Will Clark had.
Yep.
I don't care who you are.
I don't care who you are. That's funny right there.
Sweetness swing. It was the most beautiful left-handed swing that you'll ever see.
So they just make this trade, right? They bring Andrew McCutchen to the San Francisco Giants. A lot of people loving it. How do you feel about it, first of all? I think we kind of talked about it, but might as well talk about it all the way through.
What's not to feel about it? Andrew McCutchen's a former
Gold Glover.
He's an MVP. He's, I want to say, I heard the stats the other day. He's 3rd on the all-time Pirates list in home runs. I mean, come on. Have an off year, but give me 70 RBIs and a 25 home run season. And yeah, he's 31 years old. He could still run.
Is he going to be the next Barry Bonds, former Pittsburgh Pirate, coming over to the San Francisco Giants?
God, I hope not. If he blows up, I'm done.
I'm sorry. I'm only serious.
I will seek ink removal. No.
No, you won't.
No, I won't.
I was going to say there's no way.
There's a reason Barry Bonds.
Because you represent the team. You represent the name on the front, not the name on the back.
Exactly.
I know better than that.
No, and I mean, Barry, that's a discussion for another time. But no, I think the moves are good.
Mm.
I think the Giants have given up a lot of their farm system over the past several years since winning championships.
Yeah.
Which has diluted their product.
Mm-hmm.
And they're bringing in veteran players now that, they're 30 and 31 years old. The Giants roster is going to be one of the oldest rosters in the majors this year.
Again.
Yep. But if they bring their OPS up, and they bring their WAR up, and they bring their RBIs up, and they bring their home runs up, what's to complain about?
Right. Well, and I look at this and I go, I think their 2 through 4 lineup is looking pretty good. Actually, maybe even 2 through 6. Because, excuse me, do you think, I don't see Andrew McCutchen being your number your leadoff hitter. I still see like maybe Gorkis Hernandez, if he stays with the team, he may be your leadoff hitter versus Kutch is not a leadoff hitter anymore.
So the outfield looks like this for the Giants right now. They're moving Hunter Pence to left field. They're going to put Kutch in right field, and they're talking about starting Gorkis Hernandez in center field.
They also have Mac,
and
because Mac can play right field, and you can put Kutch in the center. But
J.D. Parker and Mac Williamson will have invites to spring training.
Right now,
but they will probably start in Sacramento the way they've done several years. They still need a lot of work with the bat. Mac Williamson is injury prone.
Yeah, he still came back from an injury. It actually kind of lit it up when he first came back. But that's what he does.
Yeah. Mac will always come up, and he will fire things up, and he will get going, and he will be on fire for a week. And then his batting average drops down to below 180.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So, I mean, and the way I look at it right now is that your 2 through, I'm going to predict your 2 through 6 lineup will probably be your number 2 could either be, and that's kind of questionable too. You could probably put Joe Panic there as number 2, but I would say that it'd be Kutch. And then your 3 would be Posey, and then 4 would be Longoria, or vice. You know that would be your probable, and then 5 probably be Belt or Crawford, and then or the other way around, and then you throw Hunter Pence in there somewhere as well.
So with the Giants batting lineup, I could see them putting Joe Panic at number 1, or number 2.
Panic's been your number 2 for a long time.
He has been number 2, but he's also been as low as number 7.
Yeah.
But that's normally your 6. Your 5 and 6 hitters have always been, well, not always, but for the most part, been Crawford and Belt.
Mm-hmm.
Belt did really good when they put him high up in the batting order, though. When he was batting, I want to say he was batting 3rd. He actually did pretty good. Crawford's going to be your number 6 hitter. That's just, that's just how that is. But I think if you take a look at the lineup, I don't see any reason in the world why you couldn't start, say, a Joe Panic in the leadoff spot who gets on base. He's got a good walking percentage. He's got a good eye. He makes good contact. He doesn't have the speed of a leadoff batter, but then you put Kutch behind him, who does have the speed of a leadoff batter, but who also has good contact with his bat as well.
What about pitching? Okay, we look at the lineup, and that's like, okay, that's not bad. I mean, it's an older lineup. We know that. But what about pitching? Other than Mad Bum, and you put Johnny Cueto, hopefully Cueto can come back from the season he had. And I wouldn't say that was a bad season. I just say it wasn't a good season that we're used to when it comes to Cueto. But after that, it's kind of like, okay, well, after that, well, help me.
And it does need help. Obviously, you had Mad Bum at the top. I think he learned a valuable lesson last year. I don't think he'll ever put the team in that position again. As far as his hella dumb injury, and that injury falls under hella dumb.
Mm-hmm.
But he knows that. He's not stupid.
And you got Jeff Samardzija too. I apologize. I didn't bring him up.
I was going to get to Jeff Samardzija, but then you talk about Johnny Cueto. This is not the first time in Johnny Cueto's career where he's had a stellar year, and then the following year he just kind of fell off.
Right. He did that before he went to the Royals. He was with
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati. Thank you.
Yes, and so I'm looking for Johnny Cueto to have a bounce back year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say probably I'm looking for 13 to 15 wins out of him this year.
Wow.
Okay. You got Jeff Samardzija, who's going to eat up innings.
He does do that.
The thing with the Giants pitchers is you have to give them run support. Yeah. It's not a bad rotation. It's questionable when you get past 3. Are you going to go with the 4? You're going to go with the 5-man rotation. You have Ty Block, who is no slouch, very young. You have other pieces that you can move around. Would I like to see them pick up another pitcher? Absolutely. Do I want to see them pick up a pitcher that's in his mid-30s? No. I'd
rather 20s, early 30s.
I'd rather have a young guy that can help chew up innings, that'll keep the Giants in a game, but the Giants bats have to be awake. They have to be alive to support their pitchers. It's a team sport for a reason, and that goes on offense and defense. You know what I mean? And I'm a firm believer in that. So that's my feeling on it.
They also have Chris Stratton out there too, who
is a young up-and-comer.
Yeah, he's a young up-and-comer. He's currently on the active roster. I'm looking at the San Francisco Giants active roster right now. But what does that mean? It means absolutely nothing right now because we still got a few weeks before pitchers and catchers report.
Just means he's going to be one of the first ones to report.
Yep, that's all it means right there. And then, the rest of them look like, they basically look like relievers. Hunter Strickland, Josh Osich, Steven Okert, Reyes Moranta. I liked Reyes Moranta when he was with Sacramento. So he could, if he's on this roster, just means he's going to, like you said. So
yeah.
But yeah, you talked about Stratton. He's 1990, so he's 27.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird to feel like that he's 27, but yeah, he can be that next number 4 guy. I can see him as a number 4.
Sure. And like I said, it's going to come down to a matter of how much run support can the Giants bats give their pitchers, and then how much pitching support can the pitchers give the Giants. And what I mean by that, I'm not looking for strikeouts. Madison Bumgarner is still a strikeout pitcher, but when he's he's always been a location strikeout pitcher.
Yeah,
he's not a guy that's ever come up and got up on the mound and throwing 100+ miles an hour.
No, but he can throw pretty hard. He throws 95,
96, 97 even.
Yeah,
he can. But he's
averaging.
He's a left-handed with a curve.
Although when he got hurt, when he came back, he was throwing 92, 93. So that scares me a little bit.
Well, he came back from a dirt biking accident. So
yeah,
and it was in his. I want to say it was his throwing shoulder.
Okay.
So I'm surprised the season was almost gone anyway by the time he was able to come back. They did kind of rest him a little bit more. They were a little bit more cautious with him last year. But Madison Bumgarner is a finesse pitcher. He always has been. And for a young guy to be a finesse pitcher, that tells me Madison Bumgarner is going to be around for a while. Okay? Because he didn't come into the league overpowering. He came in location. He can place it wherever he wants.
Him and Buster Posey, I still remember that when they won that World Series, and they were like,
"Oh my God,
who's this kid?"
Yeah.
Now it's like, well, this kid just go out there and throw innings. I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah. He came out and this snot-nosed little kid, the snot rocket. Before he was a snot rocket, he was a snot-nosed little kid, and he wasn't that little. But you know what I mean.
I do.
Helps win a World Series, and then all of a sudden, it's a few years later. He won the World Series.
That he did do indeed, and and I'll tell you something else about Madison Bumgarner. He's going to be in the Giants organization for a long time, and he's going to get paid.
Oh yeah, he already gets paid.
He doesn't get paid. What do you think?
But he doesn't want to get paid. He gets paid like $13 million a year right now.
Yeah,
I know. I get that's very subpar for a pitcher.
For him,
for a starting pitcher that's
for him to be okay about it.
Always in the conversation with Clayton Kershaw's and stuff like that. It's just it's what he is.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Madison Bumgarner, I don't think gets the acknowledgement because of the time he's playing in.
Yeah.
If he played in the 90s, could you imagine what kind of he would be in the he would be second to none behind Randy Johnson. But now he's second to none behind a Clayton Kershaw, and I am not a Dodgers fan.
No,
but I'm a sports fan.
That's why we're here.
You respect his authority.
Yeah.
Okay? You respect his authority until it comes to the playoffs, and then you don't have anything to worry about.
Actually, he pitched well this playoffs.
Okay, there's a first time for everything. We just talked.
I know. Dog shines, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
I've heard that enough times from you.
Ow. Is somebody a little irritated?
Because of the time frame and everything else, we're going to just jump into this. Do you know... Yeah, how excited are you about racing? I mean, Daytona 500 is probably about a month away, a little bit more than a month away. Are you ready for it?
Daytona 500 is in 3 weeks, bub.
Is it 3 weeks? No.
It's the weekend after the Super Bowl.
No way. They usually held it until like the end of February, like the middle of February. Oh, wait. Middle of February is in 3 weeks. Where am I at? Wow. But anyway, are you excited about it?
I have to relearn it.
Again?
Why? Here's the deal. I've kind of gotten away from NASCAR. Last year I wasn't really interested in it. They made a lot of rule changes to me.
Are you not a fan of the playoff situation?
No, the playoff situation I'm a huge fan of.
Really? Okay.
I am. I actually like that. It keeps people from running away with it like they used to.
Right.
The stage thing, I don't get.
Driver introduction. When you're talking about the stage thing, when the driver introduction.
No, I'm talking about the stages that they run through.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so that they then also.
So apparently you're not as up to it as I am.
No, it took me a second what you're talking about.
Okay,
so they go through the stages.
Yeah, they go through the stages throughout the race. I don't
if
quite
it's a 200 lap race, they go like 65 laps and they take a break.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah, and it used to be a competition thing, and just to check the tires and this and that. And now they
still do the competition.
They do, but now they're allowing them to get points for. So I haven't quite gotten all that dialed in. Right. My driver retired.
He might buy the Redskins. He might buy the Carolina Panthers. He wants to be an owner.
He's got the money for it.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. wants to be a partial owner of the. Wants to get in. Wants to be part of it. Maybe him and Diddy can get together and do it.
Wow. With his bar, the Whiskey River,
they can call it the Earn Your Diddy Championship.
Oh, Bad Boy Junior.
Bad Boy Junior.
Junior Bad Boy. No, I need to find a new driver.
A lot of people are kind of going towards that young guy over there in the 24 with the Bill Elliott. Bill Elliott guy.
Yeah, Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott is a young driver. He's good.
A lot of people are kind of going after him.
I don't see anything wrong with it. Jimmy Johnson is not my guy. No, but I've always liked him.
I've liked Martin Truex, and I was happy when he won the championship. I don't know if he's my guy.
No, there's certain guys that you just root for. Martin Truex Jr. was one of those guys. Chase Elliott just coming up from driving for JR Motorsports into Hendrick Motorsports, taking over for Jeff Gordon. He's one of those guys. Jimmy Johnson's one of those guys I root for just because I want to see something. You want to see history made.
Yeah, you want to see him get his 8th.
He's tied with Senior,
Dale Earnhardt Sr.
and the King.
And Richard Petty.
Okay? You want to see history made, and there's nothing wrong with that. But he's not my guy.
Well, you and I might have to we may have to sit down. You know what? I think that's what we'll do. We'll watch the Daytona 500.
You mean we get 2 Super Bowls in February?
We get 2 Super Bowls in February. I'll go to your house. We'll watch the Daytona 500. We'll start looking for our own guy.
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers has his own favorite driver now too.
I do.
I do. He's got a new favorite driver, and chances are he gets to sleep in the same bed with that driver, which is awesome. Usually kind of weird, but when it's Danica Patrick, yeah, it's pretty awesome.
I'll take that all day.
So it's kind of
go daddy.
She needs a ride, and I know that I don't know what she's going to be doing. I don't understand her thought process.
So the deal with Danica Patrick is reports.
She still doesn't have a ride.
She does not have a ride,
but she has GoDaddy.
She has sponsorships with no car.
That's so weird.
She wants to drive the Daytona 500 and the Indianapolis 500.
The Brickyard,
excuse me.
Yeah.
And she's done. She's going to pursue other business adventures that she's already upstarted these companies. She's going to focus more on that. And apparently her relationship with one Aaron Rodgers. Could we see a whole new State Farm commercial coming?
Wasn't she dating Kyle Larson?
No.
Who was it that she was
Ricky
dating?
Stenhouse
Ricky
Jr.
Stenhouse.
Yeah, reports are that he's a few years younger than she is. He wasn't ready to settle down.
He wasn't mature enough. He kept wrecking me.
Yeah, she wanted to cut off my. Anyway.
Good night, everybody.
But yeah, and things happen. But she said in a report that she's always been a fan of Aaron Rodgers. They met at the ESPYs.
Apparently a little too much now.
And now.
Bow chicka bow bow.
Wow wow.
Man, that's almost like that's getting close to a Tom Brady Giselle kind of relationship. You kind of are excited about that.
Wow.
Comparisons.
I'd like to see her Victoria's Secret.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Hello.
So we'll have to look at the Daytona 500 when it comes up. Maybe we'll just have to sit down and watch a watch the race and find our
stage or two.
Our own guys. Yeah. Or girls. Who depends on how it goes. Anyways, thank you all very much for watching. For Kyle Hauk, I'm JD, Jeff Dominic. See you next week around possibly this time or 7 o'clock, depending on which game is coming up for UOP. We'll talk to you then. Go Tigers.
Everybody needs clean water, especially Ariel the Little Mermaid and all her friends under the sea.
Flounder, hurry up!
And no matter where you live, what you do above the ocean affects all the living creatures below it.
Scuttle, look what we found!
Human stuff, huh?
To keep our oceans clean, recycle and dispose